Ram, what's going on, buddy?
Trying to stay warm. How you doing?
Unreal, man. I had 8, 9 below on the way here. I can't believe we went from fall to winter. I have so much ice gear in here. I've got everything but the kitchen sink. I didn't know if we'd be spud barring out. I talked to you 3 days ago. Only a few inches of ice. Now we've got making good ice.
Yeah, I mean, 8, 9 below, we're probably making over an inch of ice a night, so.
I brought the skidoos, the trailer full of stuff. Let's get after it.
Let's do it, man. Wow, you did bring a lot of gear.
I didn't know what to expect. You know, talking to you on the phone a few days ago, we didn't know if we'd be spudding our way out. We didn't know what lakes we were fishing. You know, I brought the machines based on what you said yesterday.
Yeah, I spudded my way out. We had very good 7, 8 inches of good clear ice, and I'm sure we made some more overnight and making it right now.
Man, it feels good to be out here. I can't believe like a week and a half ago, I was literally in the boat. Now we're out here. Man, Rem, there is a lot of ice. Wow.
Yeah, we gained quite a bit.
Unbelievable. I say we just cut a grid and just start figuring out where they're at in this area. I mean, they gotta be up and down this shoreline here.
Yeah, the big school is out there at like 90 to 100, but there is a good mess of them right there at like 35, 40.
You know, it's early ice, so I'm always conscious about sound. You know, prior to forward-facing sonar, you know, you didn't know that you were spooking this many fish. They don't seem to be super spooky today, but we're gonna lead the snowmobiles back just 40, 50 yards off our spot, and we'll just drag the otter up here, trying to stay on the snow, minimizing the noise. That's key to getting on these fish. There we go. Finally, man, had to downsize. They are moving a lot more than I thought. I mean, initially when we pulled up here, I was like, oh, they're just hanging there, but man, they're moving.
Very spooky. I mean, everything. I mean, as you can see, we got no snow on the ice, super, you know, everything's loud. The lake is popping like crazy, so they're just very, very spooky, but
we're
first one of the year, buddy.
First one of the year, yeah, no doubt. You know, I dropped that spoon down there and they kind of shot past me, so I put a small tungsten on with just a 13 plastic, and definitely interested now. Now it's just a matter of, we're just gonna have to play cat and mouse for a little while until they settle down. Sometimes they settle in, but early ice, it's pretty common for them to be this spooky. When we pulled up the machines though, I thought, oh man, we just drove over with sleds. They're not gonna be that bad. Well, let's get this one back down. Let's drill a little bit, see if they settle in here. If they do, we can whip out the otter. If not, we'll just stay on the move, right?
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Strike Master Maven, Rapala, Runnings, and by Heat Hog.
You know, most of the time when we're hole hopping like this, when we're trying to get in front of fish, I'll have two different setups. I'll have something that's real finessey, real subtle, like a small tungsten with a plastic, something where I don't have to put live bait on, but I also like to have a spoon ready. And this new torpedo spoon, it's a tungsten spoon, it's heavy, you can get down there quickly. A lot of times you can get it in front of fish as they're moving through, they see that bait, they come up and they'll hit it. But it's sort of a 1-2 combo. If they won't hit the spoon, then I'll downsize to the Finesse presentation. Starting to get a little more fired up. Maybe they're used to us walking around or the ice is calming down, I'm not sure, but there we go, boom. Nice fish. Look at on that Finesse tungsten. I so badly want to drop that spoon now that they're firing, but they're hitting this tungsten. It's that straight tail plastic. As you can see, just a classic presentation, especially if they get finicky on you. But good overall crappies, man.
There, I got one too, doubled up.
I love it. All right, Rem's on.
Still got him. That was kind of a little race there. Oh yeah, not a bad fish. There we go. Like Tony was saying earlier, 1-2 punch. He's using a small little plastic and tungsten combo. And that was on that little itty bitty, it's like a 32nd ounce, maybe even a 64th ounce spoon.
There you go, buddy.
How about that?
Nice fish.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Get him back.
We're getting after them. You know what? I don't mind working for them a little bit. It's fun, like that hunt and chase. I better get this back. It is cold out here.
Very cold. It's getting a little frustrating though.
I know. I mean, we literally, you know, it's pretty indicative of drilling in a basin, especially early ice. They move around a lot. But this morning was kind of like a false sense of security. I mean, we drove snowmobiles over the top of them. We're getting ready to set up our otters, and then all of a sudden we're like, where did they go? And look at, I mean, they've moved almost 100 yards on us. You know, we're starting to get them dialed in here in this little corner. I think if we just keep after them like this, we just keep going this 1-2 punch. You use a small spoon, I use a plastic, and we'll just keep putting them on the ice and piecing it together.
There we go.
Hooked up?
Hooked up.
There we go, Rem. Oh, I don't want to walk too loud. I can see them all sitting here.
Yeah. There we go. Looks like a decent fish.
I see the rod's bent over.
Took a little coax in.
Oh yeah, there's a good one. They're all about the same size, like that 12+ inch. They're nice fish.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
On that little tiny bowl spoon again. Really had to downsize. But
that's all right, man. Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna get it back. It's so cold.
You know, it won't be long with these ice conditions. You'll be guiding, I'll be guiding. It's so nice to get these bonus panfish trips in. And look around, there's no one out here. I love it before all the houses get out here. Just, you can roam around. You know, it gets so hard when you get all the traffic and all the wheelhouses and everybody's coming out and everybody's gonna be pumped about ice fishing. But able to just roam on our own and chase these things down. I've always said, I don't mind working for them as long as we can put them on the ice, and these are all good quality fish.
All right, so the bait that Tony is using right now, at least one of them, is the brand new Rapala Nano Wrap. This is brand new on the market, just came out this season. But Tony and I've had a chance to actually fish it last year just to test it out. And let me tell you, this tiny Rapala lure, the smallest Rapala ever made, catches big fish. No surprise there, right? It looks like a fish in the water. Now, it comes in 14 different colors. It weighs 1/16 of an ounce, and it's 3/4 of an inch long. That right there is a big fish catching beauty. All right, let's take a look at this bait underwater. I want to show you what this looks like when you're fishing it. Now, I've slowed the video down. This is slow motion video, but you can see how when you lift up it darts back down. There's a weighted front on this bait. There's also rattles built in. So if you want, you can rip it. It's gonna rip up and dart off to the side. Big rips are gonna call fish in from a long distance. As they come a little bit closer, you can see, not only check out the glow on that, this is killer at night, but you can just see how that thing shaking in front of them will trigger the strike. I also like to raise it up as I'm shaking it. So I fish it really aggressively. We like to big rips. Once we see the fish coming in, slow it down a little bit, raise it up. And this bait, I'm telling you, it's the smallest Rapala lure ever designed, but it is a big fish catching machine.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Rapala, L&M Fleet Supply, and DeWalt, 13 Fishing, and by Voyager Industries, the makers of Yeti fish houses.
Decent one. They are really starting to fire. Oh yeah, good fish too. Hitting the spoon, the bull spoon. You know, if you find yourself chasing these fish where it seems like you're playing cat and mouse too much, it's almost like you need to hunker down and just settle down, walk quiet. Anything you do as far as noise makes a huge impact. But once we kind of chased our tail a lot early, but now that things have quieted down and these fish have settled down, we haven't had to hole hop as much. I mean, we could ultimately set up the shelter here even, but just settling into these areas, and then once we have sort of a grid established as far as holes too, and you're not making all that noise drilling, it's made a huge difference. And I think I might even upsize to a spoon now, Rem, because I mean, I'm seeing you over here cracking them on the spoon. Maybe I'll try a nano wrap. They're really starting to fire. There he is. That was a light bite. You know, I'm using the 13 tickle stick. As you can see, it's like a 32-inch rod, but it's got really good backbone. It's got a great sensitive tip, a strike indicator. Anytime I'm using really small jigs, small tungsten, I like something with a good strike indicator like that, but you have to have good backbone. Look at that, buried that hook in that fish's mouth. When you're using a jig that small and a hook that small, it's hard to bury it in these crappies' mouth. And one thing about crappies, unlike gills, you know, a lot of times with gills, you can set the hook a little bit. If you watch me, I just kind of lean into the fish all the time with crappies. They have that paper mouth, and you don't want to be setting the hook super hard. You'll see me just leaning. And when I'm using a really small tungsten jig like this, I like using really light line. I'm using a 3-pound test Suffix Advanced Mono. What I love about Advanced Mono is there's no stretch, so it fishes like a braid, but it's a monofilament. So when I'm out here in the conditions, these sub-zero temps, I don't have to worry about my line freezing up.
We got 45 feet of solid fish.
That's great. That's what we're looking for, boys.
About time.
Heck yeah.
There we go. Hooked up.
I had total faith in you, Rama.
Everything's froze up. Drag's not working.
Welcome to ice fishing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, just a little guy.
That's all right.
Big, small, we love them all on the first outing of the year.
is. Boy, that was a soft bite. I'm using a 13 fishing tickle stick. What I love about this rod, it's a 35-inch blank. It's light action rod, and as you can see, I just kind of lean into the hook set. I don't really just set the hook. Crappies with that paper mouth, I like just kind of leaning into them. And that 35-inch blank allows me to kind of lean into those fish. And as you can see, look at that hook set. Boom, right in the mouth right there, right in the rubbery part. See how I'm just barely hooked on that piece of skin? If I were to really set the hook aggressively with, let's say, a really either stout rod or a rod that doesn't have that nice soft tip, what's gonna happen is that jig is gonna come flying out. So whether you like fishing spoons or small tungsten jigs, the right power and action rod can make the biggest difference of putting fish topside or missing them completely.
Dialed In Angling, brought to you by Skidoo, Markham Technologies, Otter Outdoors, and by Onyx Fish.
Using the right line species. You have too heavy a line and you don't catch that fish. You don't have control over that bait, you don't catch that fish. That was awesome. Rem, that thing bit so light. Look at the size of that crappie too. That's a nice fish. But you have to have total control over your bait at all times, especially when you're dealing with these finicky fish. You know, I get asked so many times, like, I'll be out with customers, I'll be with friends, and they're like, why are you catching them? I'm not. We have the same bait on. It's because of little details like that, using really light line, having complete control over your bait, not watching your bait spin down there or getting slinky effects out of your line because you have too heavy a pound test, but having control over that bait and then watching that little strike indicator on that tickle stick, and bam, you get a nice crappie like that. That's unbelievable. I love that sequence. That's why I love ice fishing. I love sitting over the top of them and watching a fish like that strike. Man, get that one back in. Boom. There we go. That's a nicer one. That one bit real light, but had to work them up and down. So by keeping that rod steady and working those crappies up in the water column, they love feeding up. So when in doubt, keep that bait above those fish. That's a good one too. Damn, Remington, that is what I'm here for.
Absolutely.
Nice big crappies.
Looks like you still gotta feed the on now.
Yeah, they are. They're starting to really fire. But keeping that bait high in the water column is important. You know, crappies, you can watch their movement. If you're dropping your bait down and you're watching them already fire up to your bait, close your bail and keep it up high. Just keep that momentum going. Or if they come up off the bottom and they're chasing it, continue that momentum high in the water column. You're gonna get more bites. Never drop down to their face or go past them. Always keep it above them. There we go. Hooked up. I got him coming up too.
This feels like a baby. Yeah, it is a baby, like baby.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, that thing just raced up and smoked it. What a fun day. Hey, when you're working as a team out here, chasing these fish down, I know everybody wants to be catching them all the time, but if you don't work as a team, one person drilling, one person looking. Rem and I have been bouncing back and forth between the auger, the forward-facing sonar, catching fish. It's fun. It is a truly ultimate game as far as hunt and pack, whatever you call it, cat and mouse. but we're drilling holes systematically and moving on top of these fish. You can't always just look out on your forward-facing sonar and say, okay, they're 40 feet. Sometimes they're moving further out. I am super glad to be back on the ice.
Me too, buddy.
And I'm glad you're ready to come with me, because I'm like, Rem, we got to film Dialed In Angling. What do you think? I got to go to the ice show. You're like, dude, I'll start checking spots, man. That's what friends are all about. Hey, this week we are on the ice. It looks like we're getting ice quickly. Make sure you're using extreme caution. We're still in early ice stages, but it's a lot of fun and it's a great time to be back. Hopefully this week we helped you get dialed in.